All right, we are live. Let me actually tweet this out tonight. I don't know what happened yesterday. Um, I did. I must just forgot to click the button. But anyway, hope everybody is doing well and had a good day today. It was kind of a complicated one today. There's no doubt about it. It was not an easy day to trade from a cell phone. That's for sure. And it was difficult. Not gonna lie, it was pretty tough. So, we went into today just to kind of review. We went into today, pretty. Let's go look at the. Let's look at the SPY. We went today with. We were gapping down it was unbelievable. We were, off yesterday, and today, we were gapping down like huge, and then who knows what was gonna happen, right? It was. Let's see if we can go back here to the. We're down huge. You've seen all the headlines, down 700 in the Dow, and then the fact that a few of them finished up green today was just ridiculous, and so that kind of gave a really tough today. It's like, what do you do, right? And do you short it right at the open? And no, obviously we know the answer to that is no, because if we're trading orbs, right, opening range bars, opening range breaks, we know that the market's going to do its thing in the first 5, 10, 15 minutes, right? And depending on the stock, it might take 30 minutes, right? So that's why in the first big day of a move on Real News, we do the 15s, right? Because we can pick up a lot of action on that and let everything shake out. Let the reversal attempts try to finish themselves out, and then wait to go in the direction of the gap, or do the 30 on day 2, sometimes day 3, just to get some of that residual move off of it, right? And so today, right? It was crazy, right? So we're gapping way down. So first thing I noticed today is Facebook was on my short radar, my short radar definitely. Just off the get-go, and it's kind of funny. Had a lot of stuff on the short radar. I was pretty bearish going into today, but you got to watch price, right? And that's why that first 15 minutes really helps out. So one of the things I noticed is that Facebook right off the get-go, and I think I had it on my 15 list too, as a potential short. The first thing it did, it went down a little bit, and then just went totally green. So I took my eyes off. I was like, all right, well, that's not going to do anything for a while, and it didn't. Right? I had an alert set for that 15 orb down today, and it never triggered, right? So, it came back in low and inside 15, right? And that could have been a potential one. You could have potentially tried to take that down. Of course, move your stop to profit after you take it, right? But it never triggered the orb, right? So, so you'd have been preempted with that. And so, basically put in, almost a hammer type thing. Came up, put in one of the hanging man. Came back down after that, right? We talked about the hammer versus the hanging man the other day. Came back in, and then it was just off to the races for the rest of the day. Google was one I looked at today. Goodness gracious, this was if you just look at the 15, was it the 15? Yeah, here it would have because it went green too, came back in just like Facebook. It came in a lot more than Facebook, so I figured Facebook had its own thing going on. But you look at this, look at that. Oh, painful if you try to do. Now this wasn't on the go-to list today, but I was watching it. And man, it went down for a little bit. And this is where you get the clues. And this is kind of what I wanted to talk about today. It's like, how do you call a market reversal, right? Well, it's almost impossible, right? So you just have to see what's going on. That's why when things are crazy, like today, and the volatility is high, and you're gapping down almost 1,000 points, right? You need to not go as high on, as much on size, right? And feel the water a little bit. You guys have seen me do that in the live session. With on a Friday, I'll go light. I did it with Apple, and that one time I'll go light just to kind of get my feet in the water, just to try to test things out, and you kind of get a feel for the market. Then if it goes, it goes. You move your stop to profit, and and if it goes, it goes. Great, but don't get married to a trade. Just because you think, just because in your mind it's, something's going to happen, right? So if we go back to the SPX, the S&P cash, I've drawn this channel here for the year, right? It's been pretty solid all year, right? So the last kind of pullback that we had didn't quite hit it, but it came off of this pitchfork, right, and went right back up. And then we had these couple big red days in a row, right? And so what did it do today? It comes right in, hits the No, hold on one second. Yeah, it hits this reaction line here. So you have all these lines converging, right? There's so much so much action, like right here, right? You have this you have the channel line, you've got a pitchfork line, you've got a reaction line, and you've got another I've got a pitchfork median line here too. So going off of this part, those pivots, and so you've got so much stuff going on right here. So do you want to catch that break? Right? That's really the question. Is that something that you want to catch? Or do you want to just kind of wait and see what happens until you get confirmation one way or another? And so I think that's just something to be careful with, right? So if you've got, multiple time frames, you're able to look at them. That's why it's hard to do on a phone. If you've got a couple monitors up, and you've got, some key areas. Like when you see something gapping down like this much, you want to pull up your bigger time frames to be like, okay, what's going on here, right? What am I going to take out? What are my pivots going to be? What gaps are there that it could be filling, right? What time frames make the most sense, right? And so here, if you would have looked at, if we look at the S&P, the S&P cash, the SPX, we can see that it's pretty significant, right? So the idea is if it broke through there and gave you some sort of confirmation bar, right, maybe like a shooter on a lower time frame below the bar, then that would have been a good place to be like, okay, now I'm going short, right? But until you see that, right, you have to wait to see what price is going to do, right? And if you did take a short here or something like that, and it pulls back above it, just get out, right? And then wait to see what it does. And you don't have to necessarily get out and then jump back in long, but look and see what's going on, right? And so that's what the game plan is there for, right? So whether you use mine or your own or whatever the case is, but as long as you've done your research, or I've done my research, right? Then or have some relative confidence in in yours or mine or whatever the case is, right? Then when the market is strong, that's why I put in there. If it's strong, then go to your long ideas. If it's weak, then go to your weak ideas, right? And then of course trade your orbs in the direction of wherever it was gapping on what kind of news it was, right? So I'm just going to kind of start and review here. I'm going to review with the hey, what's going on? What's up, Velocity? Hey, Benson. Appreciate you guys. So just to kind of review, we've got Boeing, right? That was on the 15 orb list, right? And why was it on the list, right? Well, first of all, not just because it was like crashing and it's a mess, but there's gosh, that's such a bad, untimely word to say. No pun intended. But Boeing, has had a lot of issues recently, and that was, I think I mentioned it last night on the video, that the reason that it was on the 15 orb list is that they've been having some big issues. I mean, they were like not giving manuals to people that have been buying their airplanes, about issues that are on with their planes, and because of that, people died, right? I mean, so that's terrible, right? And the stock, should be punished for that. So that's why we look at the 15 orbs on that. And so just to kind of show you, if the market, was bound, okay, only a few, most of the FANG, it was kind of divergent this morning, right? So like the NASDAQ was going up, everything else was going down, the Dow was, still pretty down. So you would have seen that this would have been a good opportunity here. So after the 15-minute orb here on Boeing. And so your entry there would have been what, like 329, 329.50, perfect entry. And then, you could have just, probably me, I would have moved profit and then, might have gotten all the way down to, what was it, 329 down to 325. A 4-point move would have been pretty solid, right? And then, if you had a little bit left over, right, and didn't just, bank it all, then you could have saved a little bit more to get down. Look at that, all the way to 317. I mean, that was over a 20-point move to the downside. That was awesome, right? That was just off the 15 orb list from yesterday. Facebook was the other one. We looked at that, but nothing happened, right? It never triggered, right? So, just kind of zoom in here on the 15. Never triggered, right? There's your 15 orb, right? Never broke, right? It did go inside 15, I mean, that's, a potential idea, but it just was weak, I mean, once it came back in there, you could have got out. I mean, you might have just taken a paper cut if you tried it there, but, here, it never triggered, never triggered short, and so, I wasn't looking into the long, so I don't do reversals on those, so, it is what it is, went that way, so that never triggered. And then, what else we had LRCX, right? LRCX was the CEO is fired for misconduct, and I think these guys like provide garbage to Apple too or something. And so anyway, look at that. You don't want to trade in those first 15 minutes. That's crazy, right? I mean, $3 range there. I mean, that's a huge bar for this stock, right? And so what you do is you wait for the 15 to close, which was on our game plan list, and there you go. Yeah, you would have entered short there 144, and you could have traded that down real easily there to 143.50. So a quick, almost a full point right there. And then, like you said, if you had some left over, right, eventually it would have gone on to 142, right? So over 2.5 points there. That's tough to do, but you probably would have gotten out somewhere here, but you still would have made money, right? Preserve profits, and then just wait for the next best setup. And then if it came back in again, right, which it did, it came back up, you could have entered again here, right? Short. And look, it even gave you a shooter bar right there, an shooting star, inverse hammer bar right there, and then you could have traded that at the same point, 144, back down again, another 2 points, right? So you don't have to be married to a trade, is all I'm saying, right? And then if you have those, you don't have to worry about so much what's going on with the market if you've got a game plan, right? And a system that you trade that is consistent. I mean, I think we looked at this enough where you can see that, I mean, it's pretty consistent, right? So if you do it right, and then you move your stops to profit and don't take losses, and that's kind of the best I could put out there, right? So and then there was some others too. I mean, there's so much stuff I didn't even get to look at today. I think I had like Dollar General was like a 30-minute one. I mean, I didn't look at any of the 30s today, so I mean, you could have made a few bucks, a few cents there. These were just ideas. The 30s are always kind of like, okay, how good is it? How good? Well, here's Mo. It was pretty good, right? 3. Not a big moving stock, but 40 cents right there. RH was another one. Right. I think I actually didn't have good earnings and just kind of reversed yesterday, so this would have been a good move to the upside there. And then CVS, I think this had to do with their, 30-minute order there. Boom. This had to do with them losing out on getting sued and all that kind of stuff. But 76 all the way down, so 3 points right there off of a 30-minute orb. So you can see, I mean, if you manage the trades right, and stay profitable and just move your stop up, you've got a really good chance of success on those. And then the other point. All right, so you saw that if you were able to zoom out and look at the perspective of the market instead of trying to jump in and mess around, with these huge macro charts and all that stuff, right? Just market was getting strong, right? Option Sniper was tweeting about Tesla, so it's going to be good. And you look for the setup, right? So you go here, right? What did Tesla do? It put in an inside 60. Right, it was strong. I mean, it was starting to do well. And what triggered it? Right, the break of the inside 60 over the VWAP. The VWAP is the purple line here, and I write about it all in my pinned tweet. Right, how to trade these, and boom. I mean, that thing moved like 8 points. I think it moved even more than that. So 355. Look at that. I mean, 11 points it ended up going. I tweeted it when it was like 8 points. So that was a good opportunity there on that one too. I didn't capitalize on it. I wish I did, but still, I can't trade all my ideas, and I don't expect anyone else to either. But they're at least there, right? So if if you're active, if you're not like me, if you've got a meeting to go to or something like that, you can't trade everything. But if you can catch stuff like this when you're at home, or if you're trading full time, if you pay attention to these, you slow things down, look at the 60-minute time frame, you can trade that, right? I mean, here, look, it double inside 60 here. It broke to the downside for 362 down to 30. You could have made 2 points off at Tesla right there, just off of that double inside 60. And same with the Qs, right? All the craziness, all the insanity. You don't have to worry about catching this crazy reversal here. I mean, you could have traded it above that if you really wanted to, but look for the best setups, right? That's why I said, boom, breakout there, and the market was doing good. So the futures were pointing up, and so you had 365 here, all the way up to almost 367 right at the end of the day. I mean, you could have done nothing all day and just waited for this setup, right? And that's the thing. You got to be patient when trading. You don't have to take every trade, right, that sets itself up, right? You just have to wait for the best one. And I know it's tough because when you're trading and you're trying to make money each day, why are you trading if you're not going to trade, right? So that's the thing. You just have to be okay with. If you lost money today, I promise you it would have been better to make no money or lose no money than to have lost it, right? I mean, we've all been there. And so if that's the case, if you'd rather have just broken even today instead of lost money or whatever the case is, right? Then certainly it's worth it to wait for the right setup. If you can't see it, you don't have to trade it, right? So, and obviously trade whatever works best for you. I just, for me, the 60s work good. I mean, the hourlies, the dailies work good. The weeklies. I mean, there's a couple cool setups today too. I wanted to point one out today, and it was hard. I can't remember which one it was. It might have been Google. One of them was inside. Sorry, maybe it was Facebook. One of these gave a good clue into its movement today. Might have been Amazon. No. These are inside months. Maybe it's the Qs. Got all these action reaction lines. It's tough to have to see. SPY. Anyway, I tweeted it out earlier. Yeah, here we go. So the SPY, right? So what was today's low? So we had an inside month last month, right? And so the low here, right, was 262.44, and today's daily low should have been about 262.44, right? So if you've got your macro charts up and you're watching the S&P, not only did you have the I didn't draw the column, the channel on the SPY, I did on the SPX, but not only do you have like your, in this case, the pitchfork levels, and you could have had your channel levels and the reaction levels and all that stuff, right? But if you've got your multiple time frames pulled up here, you would have seen, right, that we got down below an inside month, right? Because the low here was 263.07. We were below it at 262.44. You could have gone long there, right? When it entered back into that inside range, right? We talk about the double inside day strategy. Well, and the inside day strategy, right? Same thing. Just the double inside day is more potent, but on the monthly, you can trade those, right? They're just a bigger time frame. It's the same chart. It's the same candlestick. It's the same setup. It's just a bigger time frame. And that's why I was tweeting out earlier how important it is to know multiple, how things are acting on different time frames. And that's why it's really tough. Gosh, this looks a mess, doesn't it? But it is. I can understand it on the lower time frames. But yeah, I mean, when you're looking at these, right, if you have the ability to, if you're not, for me it's tough, during the day, if I'm on my cell phone, you can't see this stuff, but that's why you have alerts set, things like that to kind of remind you of what's going on. Like I have got an alert set here in case that monthly tail breaks, right? And so this one here, would have triggered you to be like, okay, I'm below that inside month, because the alert would have been inside month to the downside, and then, kind of would have, maybe went to look at that and be like, oh man, let me see if I can get that back on the inside. If the market if the futures are pointing up and things are looking strong, I mean, that would have been a huge move, right? So it would have been all the way 260, what was it, 263.07, right? Where did it close? 269, right? I mean, so that was like 6 points on the S&P. I mean, that you don't have to worry about catching a market reversal or these key reversals. Just trade the candlesticks, right, on different time frames. And so you could have entered there too, right? Or I'm just saying, there's a lot of different ways to trade, and then if you can incorporate everything together, the whole story paints itself. The picture paints itself out. Because you're looking at the price action, you can see how things are moving, and then you use your other frames of reference. So here I know on the daily, okay, here I am. I'm right at this. The pitchfork base right here. I'm right at a reaction line. There should be some activity here, and you can see that if you're sitting at your desk before the market opens. Okay, where's everything going to open? Related to what? Et cetera, et cetera. Okay, where am I at on the big candlesticks, on the medium candlesticks, the dailies, and then my intradays? Right, and then you can put a trade together. And I think once you can kind of put all that stuff together, and if you've got other stuff too, if you've got Elliott wave analysis behind you, and CAN analysis and pitchfork analysis, and once you can put as many pieces together that make sense to take that trade, even and if there's an orb involved too, where it just makes that more stronger, and you should be a lot more confident in taking the trade. And so that's my lesson today. So how to spot market reversals. It's really difficult, but if you put enough tools together, if you put enough of your knowledge together on it, you can do it, right? So anyway, just wanted to put that out there. So that's all I've got tonight. I hope that was helpful. I hope you guys can hear me. And if so, then if you got any chart requests for tonight, I'm happy to take a look at that. I mean, obviously, I mean, just about everything reversed today. So there's gonna be a lot of green candles out there. We just have to see how we are tomorrow. You know, I haven't been able to really predict things sensibly as well, as earlier. But I mean, I thought Tuesday was going to be a super choppy day, and I think maybe a lot of other people did too. But it ended up just puking. So you just got to switch gears, right? And when you see that, and you think you're going to chop, you've got a low. You can. You can make a decision, right, to switch gears, and that's what we have to do as traders, right? As people, we love having stories, right? We love having a whole case built, for why we're bearish or why we're bullish and all that stuff. But as traders, we have to be dynamic and nimble and be able to switch it up. So, hey guys, appreciate everybody. Hey, what's going on, Shirley? Good to see you. Oh, AU, I know you mentioned that last time. I'm sorry I skipped over, so let me start with that, and then I'll get to I'll get to everybody else. So, John, yeah, how's it going? Okay, AU. Let's check out that first. I meant to get that last night. I was skipping around. I don't know why. All right, Anglo Gold had a night. Yeah, so gold's been really interesting too. I really thought it was gold is going to have a huge breakout, and just kind of switched the script a little bit today with the market kind of breaking out today. But gold kind of hung in there. If around this 1244 as this key 1245 is a key area for gold if you can get through it. So that was a good bar today on that at the close. Wow. So obviously if the market was gapping down, you asked about this last night, and this would have been a good one to look at. But yeah, you were right at that kind of cup and larger time frame cup and handle. Nice break yesterday, and then today it gapped up. So if you were along that yesterday, congratulations. Overnight. Weekly was almost an inside week to the upside, but really strong week so far. Hit right in its weekly 200 MA. It looks like it's starting to perk up a little bit here on the monthly, right? You've got 4 green months in a row, and now it's looking even better. It's getting, it's kind of getting over all the moving averages, and if the market goes down again, a lot of the divergence here has just been wild. But anyway, if the market's down again tomorrow for whatever reason, this looks pretty good, surely. So yeah, totally. And I don't think there's going to be too much action on the pitchfork wise, but we can take a look. Let's see. See a way to start there. Something like that. So it might mess around, might come down a little bit, come back up, but it definitely looks like it's working itself in an uptrend here. So it might channel its way up, whatever the case. It might break out and then channel up here. So it's definitely a good one right there. All right, John, yeah, let's see what we got. So BA set was good. Oh yeah, man. So orb was the orb on that one was legit. So Roku, good. Thanks for bringing that up, Roku. It was on my watch list. I didn't post it or anything like that, but it was one I wanted to keep an eye on today. Of course, everything gapped down this morning, but I was like, oh man, Roku, because I haven't been watching it in a while. But yeah, so let's just take a look at Roku real quick. Obviously, 2 huge red months, kind of going inside this month. The weekly. I had drawn a Fibonacci, and it was basically just sitting on this the zero yesterday. I think I had drawn I was looking at Elliott waving it a little bit, see how far this pullback might go. Looks like it did hit the 23 and kind of came back in a little bit today. Oh, I'm sorry, that was weekly, but yeah, here. I mean, it's definitely looking like it's in a downtrend. You got 1, 2, 3. And I thought maybe this was a 4. Yeah, I thought this was like the 4 right here, the pullback right here. But then I was like, no, it wouldn't have finished on it. So I was like, maybe this is the 4, and then it would go up here, come back down. So ultimately, with Roku, I think if it breaks this base, you got 1, 2, 3, 4 shots at it about. So if it gets below, I think if it gets below 37.50, I think you're probably looking at some further downside on it. So let's see if we pitchfork it for you. I'm gonna get rid of these Fibonacci's. Let's see. Remove, right? Okay, there. Yeah. All right, let's see. Let's see. Well, I mean, it would be interesting if it's putting in a pivot here. So let's see if there's any other anything else. Even that looks, kind of bullish. So something like that too. See, it goes right through the median line right there, and then down here. So it could be basing here and might be looking to go back up. So that's a good one to look at. Keep an eye on, for sure. And what else? Lulu. Orbs, can you please explain? Oh yeah, so Velocity. So orbs, right, are opening range. And if you go to my pinned tweet, right, like I've got a whole write-up about it, right, about how to trade orbs, right. So I really explained it on Twitter. If you go to my pinned tweet, scroll down a little bit. I've got something on orbs. I've got something on trading 60s, and I've got something on trading. What else do I have something on? I think I got double inside days. And so those are kind of like my main toolkit items that I like to trade off of, other than just looking at charts, right? And so, so Lulu, right, is anytime with orbs, the best ones to trade is if you've got earnings, and I'm not just talking any earnings, right? I mean, you can, but I'm talking about real stocks like that move, right, that you can make money off of, make a couple points off of, and I'm not talking about 20 cents or anything. I'm talking about, good moves. And so Lulu's a momentum stock, right? It moves, right? And so Facebook, these type of stocks, they move, right? And so so for earnings, I like to look for those, and then I also like to look for news, and news can be real news, like Apple, invented a iPhone nail polish where you could make phone calls with just your fingernails or something like that. And so some real news that's like major technology, some breakout stuff for the company. You can trade that off an orb, like Boeing with its that was a 15-minute orb because of the bad news for it. So either direction, right? And then I keep it simple, right? Day one, you trade the 15-minute orb, that 15-minute bar, the break of that in the direction of the gap. So if it's gapping down, you only look to trade it to the downside. If it's gapping up, you only look to trade it to the upside, right? And it just kind of makes it simpler, right? It keeps it really simple. And so Lulu is got earnings. So it was supposed to be, I think, yesterday, but because of the day of mourning, it's it's today. And so just to kind of, let's see where it's at right now. Yeah, so it had a huge gap down, and what was it supposed to do? So market makers were pricing in about a 14-point move. So you would assume, right, it would be like get around, $115. And what did it do? Came about $115, and it bounced right back up, right? This is, if I'm going to trade after market, something like that, right, is good, because it actually had good earnings, I believe. Yeah, it beat on earnings. I thought it had pretty decent guidance. So that would be, you could have gone long at 115, and you'd have been good after hours, right? It's dangerous to do it after hours, but you can trade that. That is a tactic, right, to add to your toolkit, right? So anyway, so now it's looking really flat. It's not looking like it's not really doing anything, but the market makers have a $15 move priced in, right? So it tried its $15 move to the downside. Well, guess what? I'm going to probably guess it's either going to come back down tomorrow, or it's going to be up 15, right? Or 10, or what? It's going to be close. It's anything to screw up the way everybody thinks about it. But I think the earnings were pretty good, and I'm actually kind of impressed with the company a little bit too, but who cares, right? Point is, if it's gapping up on earnings, you can wait the first 15-minute bar and then look to trade a break of that first 15-minute bar to the upside, right? So let's just say it had earnings today, as it was gapping down. This would have been your first 15-minute bar. You would have traded it here at 131.62 all the way down to 128. So it was a three-point move right there. If today was, but you get more action on it, I think, is if there's something significant going on with it, right? Because you're going to get more volume, you're going to get more interest. And if it's solid and they want to buy it up, good to go. If it's bad and they want to dump it, then you can capitalize on that. And so so that's why I'm looking at Lulu. And then I think Ulta is going to be the list. Ulta's expensive, isn't it? Like, so I don't encourage trading. The options stink and all that good stuff. But here I will look to see if there's even if it's only 10 shares or whatever the case is, you could look to do a 15 orb on this one too. So yeah, and there's a couple others I have up there. So just look at the game plan list, and if this market's strong, go with the strong ones. If it's weak, go with the weak ones, and and keep an eye on the orbs, and You know, just nice little tools to have in your toolkit and you can make money with, right, and preserve profit. So surely you got CRMD. Let's take a look. So we got monthly. Monthly's looking really good. Cormedics, never heard of him before. Yeah, you got like monthly hammer form in here. Look at that volume there that month. Goodness. Yep, weekly hammer kind of forming. Looks like it's really working its way up. Huge day today. You know, nice kind of cup and handle break. See how it broke all these like boom, 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 boom. Once it broke all those, right? Nice uptrend here, right? And so it looks good. And solid close here. And yeah, still moving up after hours. So there's some definite potential on this one. You know, and it's a penny stock, so just be careful with your sizing and make sure you know your spreads and all that stuff. But let me just see if I can see anything interesting here. That could work. See how they're all kind of consolidating around the median and then went up. So just watch out here, right? This is a nice trend line there, potential. So just careful it doesn't pivot out right there. It doesn't go all in on this stock, and you know, there is a gap up here to fill though. So if it gets above this median line, then it might want to take out this level and kind of fill. Whereas the Japanese candlestick, as they say there, is close the window. Right? Might want to close that window. So we'll see. But yeah, nice look on that stock there. Fine, good find. My pleasure, Thalasi. Appreciate it. And TOL. How's it going, Scott? TOL. Toll Brothers, right? Let's see. See what's going on. It's got earnings. What are earnings? I guess did it already come out with earnings? Yeah, it had a bunch of volume. So yeah, must have been. Was it? Oh, it was before the market closed. Okay, so yeah, so they had earnings the other day. They were better than expected, right? Give you an inside day today, right? So inside days, you can trade breaks of those, you know, cautiously, of course. But you know, if it breaks to the upside here, this high of 33.81 could be good to the long side. Of course, if it breaks low to the downside under 32.10, it could go down further. So it might even do a double inside day before it breaks again. You know, working on, you know, kind of monthly hammer, weekly hammer, inside day. Lots of consolidation here into the close, right? So this is, you know, I have a few questions about 60 anchors, right? So this is a 60 anchor right here, definitely. Anyone that closes is a 60 anchor, but there's significant 60 anchors, right? When you're trading 60s, we go through my write-up. Inside 60s are awesome, hammers and inverse hammers, or shooting stars or shooters, right? And so that inside 60 is significant. So depending where you open tomorrow, you know, you could trade off of this as a reference point, and so I call that a 60 anchor. So you could call it a 60 reference point, or you could just call it yesterday's close on the 60-minute time frame, whatever you want to call it. But I call it a 60 anchor, and so it gives you something to think about and to look at when you're trading. And so, so a lot of nice consolidation after a big earnings day, and so you know, from contraction comes expansion. So look to trade this one on a break to the upside or the downside, just depending on how the market is moving tomorrow. So yeah, so that's my take on Toll. And then let's see, hourly, Pitchfork, hard to tell. Hard to tell. Right. It's too soon after the earnings, right? But it could be pivoting here. Could be putting in a pivot. So if it breaks that to the downside, you might see some further downside too. So yeah, so that's that one. Okay, so we have CVRS, Shirley. Wow, that is a thinly traded stock. But it did get some action at the end, didn't it? But only 145,000. Like this, when these things trade, like I can't do these when it's only 36,000 shares. It's like if you want to get out, it's like, okay, how much am I going to lose to get out of this stock, right? So, but yeah, so it's forming an inside 60 or inside monthly. You know, nice, you know, engulfing weekly hammer. You know, and then you know, pretty solid day today. Of course, a lot of solid days today across the board, but a nice close here, right, over the VWAP with some decent volume for this stock, right? And so, so yeah, just keep out. You can kind of see as the lower time frames you get, you can see how thinly traded this is. It's very difficult to trade intraday. So you'd have to go, you know, have a, you know, a goal for a couple of months of where you want this thing to go, right? But it's a penny stock, so probably down. Let's see. Hey, what's going on, Javier? NOC. Check out NOC. Yeah, so it's inside month. Northrop Grumman inside. This is a tough little stock to trade too. It's not little, but it's tough because it gets spready and it's like you think it's going to move and then it doesn't. But look what it did here when last time it had inside month. The next month was like huge to the upside, and so now we got inside month here. And it's working on a reversal month. You know, solid reversal month. Working on a reversal week, but you know, lots of red there. But a solid day today. But couldn't beat the volume here. Still solid. I'm sorry, solid green day today. 180 reversal might be strong on a break of today's high and a decent close, like the rest of the market. And let's see. That's pretty interesting. So let's see, let me activate that, let's see if it looks like up here. Kind of like that. Let me see if that does anything. Interesting. One more look. Just want to see if I could. No. Let me just see real quick. Activate. Let me just put that there for a sec. And then move this up. No. Nope. Nope, not liking it. That's fine. Let's bring it down there. Ah, why did I do that? Anyway, it looks like it could have on the definitely on the definitely looks like it's putting in a pivot here, right? So see if it consolidates a little bit. You know, if it gets below this, you know, kind of this trend line here, the bottom of this pitchfork area, you know, obviously could have some downside. But if it is pivoting, you could see another run up here to, you know, the 280s, whatever the case is, kind of like around here. So, and it looks good here too. Stochastics kind of curling up, RSI is curling up. Looks like you get some potentially get some strength. Yeah, so in Thinkorswim, Velocity, alright, so you have to do, and I did this, somebody asked me last time and I ended up having to recreate everything, so I'm just going to show you here. If you click on here, this is your grid, right? And so I have, you know, I have all my key time frames that I like here. You could make it as big as you want or as small as you want, just one screen, so I keep it here. And then you link all the pages together with you know, like if I unlink this page, you can see if you don't have it, right, it'll have this little chain link right here. And they just link them all together with a color, right? So then you can just use these arrows to click around all the different time frames. So on the top, you can see I use regular candlesticks, right? And I just go from monthly to weekly to daily to hourly to the 30s and then to the 15, where I look at the orbs. And then I switch to regular bar charts because if I'm doing Elliott wave, I like to look at the bar charts to do that. It helps me find wave counts a little bit better, and then and it helps draw pitchforks better too. So I use that same time frames, but just on the bottom. And then on the candlesticks, I use have RSI and then implied volatility, and then on the bottom parts, because the pitchforks work really well with stochastic to kind of see where you're at, where you're pivoting, to kind of give you an idea of where it's going to go. And then you know, RSI, of course, is good too. Yeah, let's see that you got just there's a, you know, positive divergence on RSI. So yeah, Northrop Grumman does look pretty strong. Good potential there. Could have bottomed here. So anyway, yeah. So that's how I scroll between those. Anyway, guys, I appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. It's getting a little late, so I need to actually try to get some sleep. But hey, tomorrow is Friday, so just be careful trading options tomorrow. I'll get to EQR there in a second, Shirley. So just be careful trading options tomorrow because it's Fridays. We've got a lot of theta burn. We talked about the option Greeks yesterday. Theta, moves logarithmically, at the end of the day tomorrow. So that's why I always put in the game plan on Fridays to trade Friday options. I mean the next week options, so you don't get burned on those. And yeah, so yeah, I hope you guys have a great trading day tomorrow. Let's take a quick look at EQR. All right, so monthly, here's another awesome cup and handle type situation. So monthly looks great. Green, awesome week this week so far. Lots of solid weeks up. Huge day today on this one. Amazing engulfing day today. Very bullish. And a solid close. So yeah, this is a very strong looking stock. Now, don't just jump into it right at the open. Just look for a good setup on this. But if you could find like a good inside 60 hammer to the upside, whatever the case is, this might be a good one to go long on. So it looks good. All right, guys, thank you very much. Have an awesome night, and I'll tweet a game plan out, and then hope you guys have a great trading day tomorrow. Okay, have a great night. Talk to you later. Bye.